Hey guys, welcome back to UModeler. In this video, we're going to take a look at some SketchUp style tools that make grayboxing quicker and easier than ever. Grayboxing is the best way to plan out your game environments, allowing you to block out your spaces with simple, untextured shapes before committing to detailed modeling. It helps you focus on gameplay, navigation, and level design, ensuring your world feels just right before adding textures and assets. With UModeler X, you can get powerful push-pull modeling, real-time editing, and streamlined workflow all directly inside Unity. So there's no need for external software or complicated imports. Just an intuitive, efficient modeling that lets you prototype your levels easy. Let's jump in and see what push-pull modeling is all about. All right, so we're going to get started in our scene here. We have a character here and he's standing here, and I'm gonna go ahead and hit play just so you can see him move around. His basic movement is just your run, jump type of things, nothing complicated, but he needs somewhere to go. And we need him to be able to move around our scene. And we're gonna sketch out something pretty quick and easy for him to do that. But first, let's take a look at some of the tools that we'll be using. All right, so what I'm gonna do is go ahead and click on this icon here. And once I click on that icon on the right side, it's gonna pull out my tools menu. All right, so on the right side, I have my favorites tools and I have my primitive shapes and I have my drawing tools. For me, this is gonna be my bread and butter. This is gonna be what I typically use to kind of block out and kind of build the idea out as I go, especially if I don't have a lot of reference. Even if you have reference, this would be kind of what I would use, right? And so to start at the top, I have my favorite tools, block, box, I have my push pull, rectangle, disc, arc, polyline, insert, pivot, bevel, and loop cut. Now, of course, you can find those in different groups, but that is the benefits of the favorites area. So you can get to them quickly. All right. So the main tool for SketchUp style modeling that most people really want this to be quick and easy, right? When you're modeling and you're blocking out like an environment, even if it's a an object like a house or a car or any type of object, you want to block it out pretty quickly and just get a base shape, just something to represent it. And you want that to be done quickly. So with that, let's take a look at how some of these tools work. So what I'm going to do is go to box, and that's going to be your pretty much your basic shape. And I'm going to use that so that we can demonstrate how the push pull tool works. So I have this box here, and what I'm going to do is take the rectangle tool and I'm going to click and drag the rectangle tool on this box. And then I'm going to click and drag that rectangle tool again. Now, at first, you think maybe it's pretty basic, and it is pretty basic here. But what's great is when you use the rectangle tool, you're going to be able to select the faces that they're representing here. So if I select this face and I hit shift and extrude that out, we can do that and do the same thing on the other one. And so now you've kind of created this shape with some additional detail. Now, with the push pull tool, it's really great because a lot of times when you're creating doors or windows or whatever the case may be, what if, you want to put a hole in this wall? Well, a lot of other tools tell you to do something like this where you kind of punch a hole this way and then you have to like delete it or you have to do a boolean and it leaves all types of mess like vertices. But with UModeler, it's really easy and really straightforward. So for instance, all I would need to do is select this push pull tool and hover over the polygon face that I want to push through. So in this case, I'm going to click and push in the direction. And as I click and push through, it activates and there you go. It creates a hole. Not only that, it creates perfect connection with the verts. So everything is connected like you would expect. All right, so that's going to be kind of like your SketchUp style modeling, and that's done directly in Unity, right? And I mean, it really doesn't get much better than that. So let's do the same thing. We're going to click the push pull tool, click, boom, there you have it. And now you have that. What's great is now we can kind of go in and we can even do some additional modeling to this. And now we have this little entrance or window or whatever it may be on your model, and we can continue to model from this object just like you would normally at any other point in this process, which is really great. And on top of that, you can continue to select edges, and you can select edges and do some more complicated things if you want to continue to do that. But that is the beauty of this, is that now look at that. Now we have like a little arch there, and we can kind of create that. And so now we have this little doorway with a little window, and we can continue to model. So that's really nice. That's the push-up tool. And I only used a couple of tools to kind of get to that point, and we will be moving on from there. Let's continue on demonstrating this. So I'm going to create another cube here, and I'll just go ahead and now this case I use the rectangle tools, you can see. And so what I'm going to really do is just go ahead and select it and extrude it up. There's so many different ways to get to that outcome. And so what I'm going to do now is select, say, the disk tool. And so for instance, if I want to just click here and put that there, that looks pretty cool. Maybe I'll put another one here. All right, that's pretty nice. We're going to take that push pull tool. And as you can see, these faces are highlighted. We're just going to go ahead and push through. Just easy. It's amazing how that works. And you can continue to model as you need based on your imagination there. Awesome. Now, another way to go about that, and we'll continue with this example, is I'm going to go ahead this time and create that box. So I'll go ahead and create this here, and I'll bring this up just a little higher. And so what's great about this is that now another tool is the polyline tool in combination with the push-pull tool. So what I would do is select my polyline tool, and now I can actually click and drag and click and drag, and I can do something like this. And now I can go in and even manipulate those verts a little bit so I can get more what I'm looking for. And there you have it. And then if I go to my push pull tool again, there you got that face selection there. So we can just go ahead and do that, push through. It is looking great. So that is pretty cool. Another thing that we can do with this, let's go ahead and continue on with these examples, because we'll never run out of ways to use it. It's just so intuitive to use. We can go ahead and do this. If, for instance, you didn't want to make windows and things, you can also make objects. So what we can do is take this polyline tool, and I'm going to make something, let's say an object like this. And this is just an obviously a sword type of object, maybe. And we can do something like that. Now the other side, for the sake of this video, I'm just going to keep it pretty basic. But it's just here to demonstrate the ability to be able to do something like this. Now that's the worst looking sword, I would say. But if I had a reference, it would probably come out pretty good. There's also some other things we can do in terms of mirroring, but to keep it simple, if you just needed a shape, you can do this. So I'm going to go to my push pull tool, and as you can see, I've able to hover over this. And now you think, oh, what happened to the sword? But what you can do instead is the outside. Boom. And so now you have this object, and you can go ahead and use that as you will. Awesome. And then we can just go ahead and manipulate that. And now you have a weapon that is a good weapon for some type of situation. Awesome. And so that is just a couple different ways the push pull tool works. Now, in terms of just generally SketchUp modeling, some of the things that we're going to do is going to also be using, for instance, the polyline tool. And for me, the Polyline tool is amazing because I can not only use it to put lines on a mesh and block out things, but I can also use it to help plan out the ground that the player is walking on. So if I click, as you can see, and move like so, I can actually just do this, and there you have it. I have something like this. Now I can select the face, and I can do something like this, and we can continue to build upon this object. So it's really great, it's really intuitive, and between all of these things, it just makes it so much easier to be able to get in there and just make these shapes quickly and easier for your blockouts. And it's really just the best option, because what's great is you can go from this to more details once you get the base shape in there, and you don't even have to leave Unity, and all of your stuff is in here. So with that said, what I'm going to do is now transition over to, I'm going to go ahead and delete some of these here, and I'll go ahead and delete those, and I'll go ahead and delete this here. And what we can do is we have our little guy here, and we don't want to leave him stranded on this little island. And so what I'll do is go ahead and quickly block out something just to see if we can put some of those things in practice, right? So what I'll do is go ahead and take my block tool, box tool here, and I'll select that, and I'm just going to go ahead and create some type of ground for him to walk on, right? So let's just do something simple like so, and I'll go ahead and let that be. And so that's pretty good. So we'll bring it down a little bit there. Awesome. And I'll go ahead and now select those faces on the right side, so I can bring that out a little bit and bring this out a little bit. And there we go. Great. All right, so the next tool I'll take a look at is the polyline tool, right? We kind of looked at that. And so what I want to do is create a pathway, just a visual pathway for him to walk on. So you can do this out here or directly on the object. Now just make sure whatever object that you're clicking on, if it has a collider, it will be able to sit directly on top of that. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and click just like so. And I'm just really trying to create this sense of pathway here, and it'll all make sense when I'm done. Awesome. And so I created that, and I'm just going to take this face and I'm going to bring it up some, and I'm going to take that, and now we have our pivot tool. The pivot's off, so I'm just going to hit center very quickly. Awesome. All done. And I'm just going to click it and move it over. Great. All right, and what I could do, I could mirror this over. They can be identical, but we don't want to do it completely identical, just to make it look interesting. I will do the same thing again, but on the other side. So I'm just going to go ahead and click there. Awesome. And then just continue to develop this and put this into play. Great. And then once that turns yellow, click, and I'm going to go ahead and bring that face up as well, extrude that holding the shift key. And now we have some type of pathway for our player there. All right. So what else do I want to do here to kind of add some depth to this? What I could do is I'm going to copy and paste this ground piece. Instead of using the box tool, I'm just going to go ahead and bring this out some. And again, just blocking things out, just kind of thinking of some ideas. And what I want to do now is I'm going to go ahead and use this, because we don't want to overcomplicate it. We're just going to go ahead and bring this up some, right? We just want to kind of create some depth for this here. And so I'll bring that out and go ahead and bring that up. Actually, we don't need to, there we go. All right, great. And so now we have a little bit going on there, and it's looking pretty good so far. And just to keep this down, I want to take this object and punch it into the ground just like so. Awesome. And this one is pretty much like that, so that looks good. All right. So let's go ahead and hit play just to see what it feels like, just to kind of create some objects for our player here. All right. And so now as we walk, now our player feels like he has somewhere to go. Maybe he has a purpose. And so we're going to create that and continue to build on that. And so we can make this as big or as small as necessary. And so just to continue with this concept, let's use some other ideas here. So maybe there's a broken wall or something that he has to go through before getting to the other side. So what I can do is go ahead and select the box tool, and I'm just going to keep it simple and create a wall. Awesome, right? And I'm just going to go ahead and move this out, and we can do something like this, where maybe he has to go through a tunnel that is coming up on this side. So I can kind of put this here, and now we have a wall, but we want him to go through this wall. And if we take some of the things we learned already, we can take this rectangle tool and actually create that opening. So in this case, we're using it more like a door. So what I'll do is just go ahead and do that. And let's see if we can get that going. So I have that there. I'm going to use the push pull tool, push that through. We got that there. Now you can see there's a little bit of leftover there. And so what I'm going to do is go ahead and just simply select the faces of that and hit delete, all cleaned up. Great. All right. And so just to add a little bit more sci-fi feel to it, because what's a sci-fi element without some angled corners? So we're going to add some bevels on it, and it doesn't need to be like that. So let's go something like so. Great. And we can make this as big or as small as we need to. We can still edit this, because that is the beauty of being able to quickly iterate on this. And so now I can go and move forward with this type of space here. And there you have it. All right. And so without going into too much detail, this is just an intro of using the tools and understanding how you can just quickly get started with your environments and blocking out your environments. In the next video, we'll continue to kind of work on this and build this up to be something a bit more detailed, and we can go from there. But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to stay up to date with the latest features and updates by hitting the subscribe button and clicking the notification bell. More features are coming and you wouldn't want to miss out. I'll see you soon.